There is nothing wrong with your television set. Do not attempt to adjust the picture. We are controlling transmission.
Episode 104.
We're back for
That's
another
what
one.
they said. We're back for another one. So this is a good one.
Yeah.
Well, we're festive.
Festive. Got the Thanksgiving theme going on. Yeah.
Yeah, it's nice. You have a nice autumn glow
Oh, is that what that?
to you.
Okay. I
Is
didn't
that
know
what
where
it
you were
is?
going with that.
Yeah, no. Don't worry. I'm not gonna throw you on the spot right now. It's
Not yet, not
it's
yet.
still early.
Yeah.
It's 6:34. Anyway, so what are we gonna do?
We got a Q&A show, which
Okay.
these are always super fun because we don't really have a specific topic. We have a couple questions that we have. We're gonna kick it off with, but then we're gonna turn over to the chat and see what's going on. And this is obviously a great chance for any of those questions that might be a little bit off topic.
Yes, exactly.
That you might want answered and maybe been a little hesitant to ask in the past. This is your chance.
Yeah, that is exactly right. And if we say something on the show that maybe you don't agree with, if we give an answer, throw it in there.
High likely that's going to happen.
Yeah, probably. We're not going to be offensive, but I think we were talking about this earlier. Hopefully you guys understand, and it seems like you do, because like I said, we're 104 into this thing. We try to give honest opinions here. We're not just saying it to sugarcoat it, or I really do not like the ACSM reel seats,
And I love them.
and he loves them.
Yeah.
So that's that's real, and I use tape arbors. That's real.
Yeah, and I'm not a fan.
Right. So I mean, if you've got questions, give it to us, and we will give you an honest answer.
Always.
And if we don't know the answer, we will tell you, and then we'll find that answer at some point, either during the show or during a break or tomorrow, and then we'll get back to you. So that's it.
There you go.
All right. So we got some housekeeping to do, of
We do.
course. We got a few new products we're going to talk about,
We
right?
do. I got to clear some space here because
okay.
this thing, it's got a little weight. It's got a little,
Yeah.
takes up some space. I just need this little corner over here. Just got to make sure I got all my
right.
stuff out of the way.
Well, I just don't want you to feel crammed.
So we released this last week.
This one's going to take up some room in Santa's sleigh.
It is. Now, I'm going to put the box up here,
All right.
but we're not going to take it out.
Okay.
But
Don't get to a hernia there.
Let me move this out of the way real quick.
Uh-oh.
We'll put it
Well,
back.
We gotta
We'll
make
put it
sure
back.
we put it back.
So, this is the new Power Wrapper kit from CRB Pro.
All right.
So again,
Looks good.
not going to open up the box because it's a lot going on in here, but
Yeah. Looks like staples are in it. It's packed.
It
baby.
is.
It's
It
packed.
is. Nice, lovely packaging here. This thing has, of course, you got the RBS Pro G2 Power Wrapper. It is kind of the brains behind this
And
thing.
dryer combo.
And dryer combo.
Okay.
We've got 3 aluminum tracks.
Yep.
Which is going to get you 8 feet of full working bench space.
Yeah. Right. Exactly.
And then along with 3 of the new CRB roller stands, which we'll get to in a minute. And then you also get a 2-spool rolling carriage to go along with this.
All right.
And of course, all the hardware, slats to connect the bases, all of that good stuff
Yeah.
right here in this one box.
I'm not gonna lie. We Mudhole, we've come a long way in terms of how we used to kit stuff, and now how we kit stuff.
Yeah, definitely.
Where it's like you get a great looking box. The artwork, of course, is impeccable as always, coming out of the Thunderdome with the guys there that do that work, and it's really just made gift giving a heck of a lot easier.
Yeah, I mean, this is a nice...
Because you don't have to find a box.
Yeah, this is a nice box to show up
All
on
you got to
your-
do is, either slap a bow on it,
Yeah.
or wrap it, or and you're good. You don't have to go, oh my gosh, I have all these little pieces and parts and baggies and everything, like they do with the Mercedes December to Remember.
Right.
You show up and there's just a big giant red bow on it.
Yep.
It would look great on that box right
Exactly.
there. Big
So,
red bow.
Hopefully this will be under a lot of Christmas trees for a couple, not even a couple, a lot of rod builders this Christmas. Or, just go all out, buy it for yourself. Why not? Treat yourself.
Treat yourself.
Yeah,
I think that's what they say, right? If that's not the the battle cry of 2023, I don't really know what
Exactly.
It is. Yeah.
So $500 retail price on this thing. It's a really, really great deal. Obviously, you get some savings in that price.
Yeah.
We are out of the Ultimate kit right now, which is a bummer going into the holiday season. But this kit is a great, obviously a lower price point, but you still get a ton of features.
I mean, honestly, if you were looking at some of the differences, I mean, I was actually wrapping on this today. I was doing a custom net. Actually, we're an AFCO dealer, obviously. And I was making a custom bait net. So I took it all apart, chucked it in the old Power Wrapper, and I was using the RBS roller stands, the new ones, the ones in there.
Yep.
I mean, I probably wouldn't turn wood with them, but I mean, I had the wrapper dialed up and was running it. So I think that's the best part about most of the kits we put out is if you really need to or want to do everything, and then the Ultimate's your game, and but if you're not going to be doing heavy turning or things like that, I mean, you could definitely refresh a grip, sand a fly grip down or whatever, no problem. But if you're really going to get the chisel out and you're going to get like super heavy turning, probably go with the one with the Pro stands.
Yep.
But I just know not everybody does that. So why not save a little bit of money, put it towards a rod kit, and get the one with those, right?
So speaking of.
Yeah, right.
Speaking of the new roller stands, again, we got the nice, clamshell type packaging. Really streamlined look to it. So this is obviously the packaged version. We got one out here to go over a couple of little features of this new roller stand. So for one, it's obviously a hybrid between the Pro stand and our regular, I call it the V stand or V insert stand.
Okay.
That you'll see in with either a hand wrapper or a RDS dryer. What's great about this is obviously we have the two wheels on the bottom, one on top. You're able to adjust really quickly with these, kind of quick turn knobs here that are threaded.
Yeah, those are much better than like a wing nut.
Exactly, yep.
Because I didn't know we were doing that at first, and then you had brought it up and mentioned it, and it was like, well, that's a heck of a lot better.
It is. It makes it so much easier than just a normal, wing nut like you mentioned.
And it's cleaner.
It's cleaner, nicer appearance, all that good stuff. Obviously got the ball bearing roller wheels in here. Couple small details that I definitely wanted to mention. For one, it will come with a T-bolt. So obviously, this is made to be RBS compatible, all that good stuff. Also comes with rubber feet, so you can actually remove this T-bolt and still use this stand, whether it be with your RDS dryer, your hand wrapper, your advanced hand wrapper.
Yeah.
This isn't just for the RBS, aluminum tracks. You can use this in conjunction with a hand wrapper or a dryer.
Right.
And obviously just remove that T-bolt. And again, you got the little bumpers on the bottom that will keep this stable on any tabletop.
Yeah.
So yeah, really cool roller stand. Bridges the gap in between the Pro stand and the regular V insert stand.
Yeah.
Price point on this, I think, is around $35, $36.
So here's a question for you, and I don't know if anybody else is doing this, and hopefully I'm not putting you on the spot here. Are the Pro stands currently in stock?
They are.
Okay. So with these being compatible without having to have the RBS track, if the Ultimate kits are not in stock,
Correct.
and you got to have the Pro stands, you might be able to get a discount at some point coming up. Buy the Ultimate, not buy the Ultimate kit, buy that one. Use those for rod dryers.
You could.
Because those are nice.
You could.
Use those for your rod dryers, so you finish your rod, put it on the rod dryer, use those.
Yeah, definitely.
And then buy you some Pro stands and go back to turning grips and doing some other stuff while you're drying.
Could Absolutely do that.
I'm just throwing that out there.
Great idea,
I'm not
Chris.
saying that that's,
I like your thinking there.
what you need to do, or that, something might help out, coming up at some point.
Yep.
But, just kind of throwing it out there. That might work.
Yeah. All right, one last new product. Now, this has not been released yet. We're looking at a few weeks out still on this product. But at some point in December, we are going to be launching the Suka Tube carbon fiber handles from American Tackle. So we've got 4 up here, but I'm going to show you guys the casting version in the forged carbon, which I have right here in my hands. So what's really cool about these Suka Tube handle system is it is pretty much a complete one piece, except for the foregrip hood.
Yeah.
It's a complete one piece below molded design. So this one, like I said, is the forged carbon material, which is very, very new to rod building industry as a whole.
Yeah.
Cool look to it. This is a matte finish, so you're not going to get that gloss, like really gloss appearance that makes it shine.
But you can gloss it.
But you can gloss it if you want to. The matte gives it a really sleek look. So if you're looking for like a rod that you might be trying to tone down a little bit, you don't want it to be like super bright or anything. The matte finish is really sleek. So we got a molded rubber butt cap here on the end.
While you're holding it,
Yeah.
Robert's got a question. Give me an overall length on that.
Overall length. All right, let's see here.
This is the casting.
We're looking at almost 15 inches on the dot, just
Yeah,
a
so
little shy.
14 3/4 to the end of the butt cap and the top of the hood.
Yep. And
So that is the complete overall length.
And that hood is screwed all the way down. So
Yes.
So yeah, this is, like I said, forged carbon. We have a molded rubber butt cap at the end. This is going to come unglued so that you can see this butt cap also has a stem. So if you want to add weight to this in the future, we are going to be coming out with a weight system to accommodate adding weight in the butt section of this handle tube. And then going up to the foregrip hood area, we have a sleeve right here to match the forged carbon. And then also...
Yeah, and it matches the other, like if you have the other twill, the hood will also match the twill.
Now the one below here is the spinning version, and this one is in the matte 3K finish.
That's right.
Or material, I should say. So we'll have the forged carbon material, the matte 3K material, and then we'll have a spinning and casting. So 4 total SKUs. Going to keep it fairly simple to start with. Might add on later, especially maybe some gloss versions. But anyway.
Do we have a final price on them?
Around $100.
Okay. So David was asking, how much will they cost?
Yeah, it's going to range. I think the spinning versions are around the low to mid 90s, and the casting is right at the $100 mark.
Okay.
So one unique feature about these Suka Tube handles is they are not a blank through handle. Meaning, I don't know if we can get this on camera. Probably not. Definitely not. Your blank, the end of your rod blank, is going to stop approximately right. We'll wait till we get to the zoom here. It's going to stop approximately right in this area right here. Your blank is not going to go all the way through to the very end to this butt cap. It's going to stop right in this area right here. The reason being is, again, this is a below molded item. The area in the skinniest part in this, where typically would be your split grip area, the diameter is too small for that blank to pass all the way through. So again, it's going to stop right in this general area. So you can use this to actually lengthen rod blanks if you want to, which is an added bonus. But that is definitely something to consider if you are wanting a rod that's, let's say, an overall length of 7 foot. Then you will need to go to a shorter rod blank to accommodate that. Maybe around a 6'6", 6'8", somewhere in that range.
Well, we were talking, one of the best parts about everything that we've got here at Mudhole, and I'm not just singling out one specific brand, but I am going to mention MHX because I know it the best. There is, let's say, a medium heavy or a medium or whatever, in so many different lengths that, whatever length you are looking for, you can get right there. If you need to buy a 6-footer, if you need to buy a 6'6", if you need to buy a 6'8", if you need to buy a 7-footer, if you need to buy a 7'3", if you need to buy a 7'6", and then they're all in the same power.
Right.
So one of the interesting things too is, so you were showing the casting. This is the spinning version. Very, very sleek, slim, pretty cool looking. Now, I've got a Signature Series kit at Mudhole. I typically fish the 7.2 version, okay? The blank that I use is an NEPS 86 LMF, so light, moderate, fast. That's what I flats fish with, bonefish, redfish, things like that. We also make a 610 version for a little more accuracy, a little shorter, tighter quarters. Now, if I wanted to build on the same blank but make it 7.6, I went downstairs, got the 6.8, figured out slides in and it stops. All you'll need is a couple arbors, and then now your overall length is 7.6. And I was able to use the same rod blank that I know and love and trust, and just change up the handle a little bit, and now we've lengthened that rod blank.
Yep.
So
this product is really cool because it actually won best of category.
Yes.
For
overall
best of show at ICAST 2023. So pretty impressive for a rod component to win best of show overall, competing against some of the biggest brands in fishing.
Yeah.
And like I said, we should have this available in the next couple of weeks, 2 to 3-ish weeks, maybe 4.
Yeah.
But trying to get them here as soon as possible.
Yep. Oh, sorry. Jake, question: are these grips the same as NFCs? Totally missed if they are making them for you. They might be similar, but no, they are not making them for us. These are ours. So, yep. Just in case that came up anymore. All right. Well, so you covered all your rod building stuff. I mean, your new product stuff.
New products.
All right. So, a couple gift ideas. If you are watching and you don't know what to get. Classes, okay? We still have plenty of time to buy products and get them shipped to you. But if you don't know where to start and the person that you're buying for doesn't know where to start, get him or her a class. Not only can you do it in person, but you can also do it virtually. So that allows you to have some flexibility on dates and times. And also you don't have to come to Florida or wherever we're holding an in-person class around the United States. So those are options there for whether you want to just do a stocking stuffer or, regular old gift. And of course, those go year round, so don't think that that's just a holiday gift. But all right, so one more thing. So Mudhole, as long as I've been here, I just celebrated 8 years at Mudhole. The education program has been big ever since I was here. It was well before me, and Anthony, and let's see, who else runs it?
Tyler.
Tyler is very big in that one as well. So the two of them are going to classes, going to schools, going to the FFA, which is Future Farmers of America. They go to shows. They get in front of kids, they get in front of teachers, which is cool because I wish, instead of building like a birdhouse when I was in elementary school, I would have loved to have built a fishing rod.
Right.
And granted, I don't even think they're building birdhouses anymore, but we're still building fishing rods. So the very, very cool thing is we've got a video. And it is when Jake and Anthony and Tyler went to the FFA, the numbers really speak for themselves. We're talking almost 73,000 attendees, which was a record amount. I think they went where? Indianapolis?
Yep.
Okay. The one I went to was in Louisville when I first started here, which that was wild because you have huge brands there. We're talking like International Harvester, John Deere, Steel, and Mudhole. Right? So 1,000 teachers came to the booth. They gave away 20 rods. They gave away over 1,000 apparel items for hats, buffs, other cool stuff. So really, really doing a great job. Do you want to cue this video up so that people can kind of get a look at it? Is that good? All right, go ahead and run that thing.
This is Poinet High School in Wisconsin. Miss LeBlanc and her class are part of the Poinet FFA chapter. Miss LeBlanc took a fishing rod building class with us and wanted to bring this craft to her students. One of our local instructors in Wisconsin went to help get the class off the ground. It was the students' first time building rods, and they successfully built 16 custom fishing rods. They spent the week building and even got the chance to fish their new rods once they were done. If you want to bring custom rod building to your classroom, please contact Anthony at mudhole.com for a class they will never forget.
So I mean, that's pretty cool.
Absolutely.
You know, we of course had the famous Buzz Butters involved in a lot of this stuff. He's really, he's great with the kids. He actually runs the program at his school where he's from. I can't remember the name of the school, of course, now that I've brought it up. But yeah, Buzz runs that fishing club. He does all kinds of cool ice fishing and builds and with them year round. It's pretty neat. Buzz is doing some cool stuff. But that's just awesome. And I'm lucky that I got to see it. I've seen it, but this was like 8 years ago. Mm-hmm. It has, more than quadrupled since then, so I can only imagine what's going on now. But it was cool to see back when I saw it. Now, speaking of other social media stuff,
yep,
we had 100,000 followers on Facebook.
Yeah, Jake, of course, put out a crazy good giveaway.
Oh, yeah.
For the new Power Wrapper kit.
Rip on. That's right. Thank you, Alan. That's it.
Oh, nice.
That's it.
That is it. Nice. So the giveaway is still going on. It ends Thursday. So a couple more days to enter that giveaway. There is a video reel on the Mudhole page. Find that reel. Watch the video. There's instructions in there. But all you have to do is like, comment, and share that reel to be entered into the giveaway. Last time I checked, there were hundreds and hundreds, but somebody's got to win.
I was going to say, it's pretty decent.
It's a really good prize.
Pretty good.
So don't miss your chance for a free entry, essentially.
Yeah, exactly. So we got some giveaways tonight, too. I know it's taking us a minute to get there, but, that's what this show is about. We're answering questions. We're kind of seeing how everybody's doing. All right. Hunter's got his credit card out tonight. We have the new Fuji Prism thread pack. We showed it on the last show, and we're going to give some of that away.
Yep.
We are also going to give some CRB roller stands away. So hopefully a lucky individual will get to see those firsthand with a winner. And the grand prize tonight, Signature Series rod kit of choice, except Jake's 9-footer, unless you want to come here and pick it up in person. Thank you, FedEx or UPS or whoever that can't ship a 9-footer. So anyway, Signature Series rod kit of choice. Now the cool thing is, you get to pick from Matt Stefan's got a Signature Series kit. Terry Scroggins, old Big Show's got a kit.
Right.
You've got a kit, or kits.
Kits.
We all have 3.
We all have multiple.
We all have multiples. Jake's got 3, and he's got the long one, but he's also got his drain rod, and then the little mullet, or the mullet, and the big mullet, and whatever.
All kinds of mullets.
And you've got all kinds of mullets. You've got more primarily bass rods.
I do. Got a 7.3, kind of versatile all-around bass rod.
Yep. 610 finesse, I think. Drop shot.
Yep. Got a drop shot rod, shaky head rod in there, and then
7.6 heavy, maybe.
I think so. Yep. I believe it's a Elite Pro.
Yeah, 90 HF.
Yep. That's it.
Interesting. So, and then of course I've got 3. I've got a fly rod in there, and then I have 2 spinning rods that I use day to day on the skiff all the time. And speaking of my Signature Series rod kits, we had Mr. Bass Fishing himself, Matt Stefan, come down, and it was great because he's never been to South Florida and catch a bonefish and chase fish like this. And he brought a friend with him, a guy that travels with him on the road that has fished other pro level, events. His name was Mike. And it was cool because, they hook a fish. And we had to go over the fact that, like, look, you can't set the hook like the bass guys. So just, we're fishing 10-pound braid, 12-pound fluoro, sight fishing these fish, and, kind of lean into them, and the bonefish is just like melting the reel. And he asked me, he's like, did you set this drag this tight? And I'm like, yeah, that's how we fish it. Like, this is not what you guys do. Yeah. And yet, of course, he was still like Bill dancing it a little bit. He was like, and I'm like, just let's get him in. Yeah. So Matt, Stefan, and Mike, they caught their fair share of bonefish. We had a great day. We got a picture here with Matt Stefan's first bonefish there. Not a big guy. But Stefan's also kind of a big guy.
He is.
But
yeah.
So not a giant bonefish, but he was blown away at what they can do drag pulling wise. And he was impressed, which I kind of had a proud moment because he is such a technical angler. He's very particular about what he likes. I feel like he and I kind of get along well with that. He was impressed by being able to come down to my neck of the woods and fish one of my Signature Series kits, and he goes, yeah, I wouldn't fish this rod blank where I'm at, or tournament fishing, or whatever, but he's like, now I can see why this works. So that was I was very excited to see somebody like Matt Stefan, who is, like I said, super technical, and we got to fish that, and it was really, really cool. So anyway, hopefully somebody tonight will win a Signature Series rod kit. If not, keep in mind, all of these products, including Signature Series kits, the Power Wrapper stuff, all-in-one kits, they are all on the website under the products used on the show. So the guys will put the link in there. It's something that after the show, you can go and click in and go, gosh, I just can't remember what he was talking about earlier in the show, find a link. It's in there. So, and then of course, that's for the people that are watching later, if they're not able to watch live. So anyway, speaking of all that, let's go ahead and give some away.
Let's do it.
You want to give some away? A little Fuji?
I think we need to give some thread away.
Okay.
Some of the Fuji Prism thread. If you guys have not seen this thread yet, it's very impressive. It's what I like about it is it's got a really good pop of color without being too bright, which the type of rods that I built in the past, we usually go with black thread.
Yeah.
Black thread, black thread.
Yep, black guides, black rod blank,
but
Reseat.
The Prism thread is really cool because, like I said, it's got a good splash of color without being too over the top. So anyway, we're going to put a thread pack together. I think there's around 6 or 8 colors in this total.
You got to put your basket back out.
Oh, yeah, I forgot. Got to give thanks.
All right, Uncle Phil, run that thing. We can give thanks by giving away some free stuff. How about that?
Who's it going to be?
And remember, if any of us win,
David DeBrule.
Is that a question mark?
Kinda.
Yeah. David DeBrule? Is that a Clemson fan there?
Uh-oh. Yeah, let's re-roll.
Yeah, right?
I'm just kidding, David.
Woof.
Hopefully
that's okay.
Butcher that last name. Hopefully I'm at least close.
I think that's probably the only David DeBrule in there, so I don't think we're going to.
Yeah.
I don't think anybody's going to be fighting over that one.
He knows.
Yep. Cool. Now, we've got some questions coming in tonight. I'm gonna touch on this one before we do this other one. Kevin asked, can you elaborate on refreshing grips? Mine turned gray and nasty super fast. So, Kevin, you can do this a couple different ways. If you've got a Power Wrapper, which I understand if you don't, because I don't. I don't have the room for it where I live. So, surprisingly, you can get a lot done with a magic eraser. I mean, a lot done.
Good point.
Now, anybody that's used a magic eraser might not know that it is like super high grit sandpaper. So you got to be real careful. You don't want to like go out and use a magic eraser on like gloss paint. Like if you go to your like cowling on your outboard, you're gonna haze it. You're gonna haze it really bad because it's actually pretty abrasive. I also don't like it on gel coat and things like that. But on cork or even on EVA, you can pretty much scrub them clean. Now, if you've got a Power Wrapper, and even if you don't, you can go through different levels of sandpaper. I don't recommend, and I wouldn't just jump all the way to like 80 grit, because you're gonna start tearing some cork away pretty quickly. So you're gonna wanna do something fairly in the like medium fine, not super fine, because you're not gonna do a lot of cleaning. You'll just kind of do a little bit of like buffing, sanding. But Magic Eraser, some Dawn dish detergent at times is really, really nice. Or if you get some like little nicks and chunks and things like that, nothing beats putting it in a Power Wrapper and sanding it. And then knock it down a little, go through just like you're turning a grip, and then I like to finish it with like a steel wool, and it makes it feel oh so nice.
Yep,
it's like
almost new.
It's very velvety, so you can do that. Now, one of the controversial comments of the night, get ready for this one. Kevin, you can put U40 has a cork seal. I don't use it, and I don't like it. It works extremely well, but I don't like it. So if you want to keep your grips looking really nice and doing all that stuff, I just particularly like the way that the cork breaks in, wears in. It's got all the fish juju on it. It's good luck. If I clean it, I clean it, but I'm not a cork seal person. So hopefully you guys don't fry me for that one, but I don't like it.
Honest.
Yeah, but it is actually a really great product. We see people that use it here all the time. Let me make sure here. This is a good one. Can you or should you, Hunter, put a small layer of epoxy over a decorative wrap before you place your rod spec sticker down?
Yeah, absolutely. I would personally. Do you have to? I guess it depends on the type of wrap it is.
Yeah.
But if you want that decal, especially if you want that decal to have kind of a floating effect,
yeah,
you could even put a couple of very thin coats down.
Multiple coats.
Multiple thin coats, and I mean like very thin coats.
Yeah.
But yeah, personally, the effect that I like to achieve is definitely putting a couple, or at least one, thin coat down, and then putting more additional epoxy after your decal is applied to that first or second coat of epoxy.
Now, keep in mind, I always put a coat of finish over a thread wrap before I do any stickers or anything. Another like practice that you can do is put a little bit of finish on your rod blank, let it dry, and then put a sticker over that. And that will kind of also do what you were saying. It will give it like a little bit of a depth kind of a look to it. It sticks really good. Some rod blanks, you kind of gotta be careful of. If you have like a metallic, like this, MHX metallic series, right? This has a really nice finish on it. This one you can stick right to it. I wouldn't worry about that. But if you have something that is like an unsanded blank, or you can almost feel the finish if it doesn't have like a mirror finish to it, right? You can touch it and go, that doesn't feel like the other rods that I've built on. That is a good time to put a coat of finish on before you start sticking stickers down, because whoa, you can booger up a decal really quick. Yeah. So I was about to knock that off.
I saw that.
I'm assuming this question, Bill, and this is, we're going to segue into something here. Bill asks, is the center solid? I'm assuming he's talking about the Suka Tube.
So they are not. They are not solid.
Yeah.
It is a hollow tube throughout the entire piece.
Yeah.
However, the inside diameter is just too small to be able to pass a blank through. And I mean almost any blank.
Yeah.
You're not getting a blank through there.
Not solid.
No, it's not solid.
So all of you people that used to argue about, oh, does it transmit vibrations better than this or worse or whatever, like, This thing is like an echo chamber.
It is.
For getting that bite.
Yep.
So yeah, it's very cool. It weighs nothing. And yes, you said it was blow molded.
Blow molded.
Which means it is not solid because it has a bladder that goes into it. The carbon forms around the outside.
Like a vacuum. Think of like a vacuum.
Yeah.
Like a vacuum sealer.
And then they pull the bladder out of it. So then you're just left with a shell. So
there you go. And they are incredibly strong.
yeah.
You would pick
Yeah.
this thing up and be like, oh, no way, this is going to be durable and
I would
tough.
love to say that
It
I could just
is.
like try to break it on live, but then I really, really, really feel like that I would get embarrassed if I
Possibly.
if I could break
Show might be over. And take you to the hospital.
Yeah, right? Be like, oh, cool. All right. Speaking of that, I wanted to get to a question that we don't get to talk about a whole lot. And it's mainly because we don't do a lot of offshore fishing stuff on the show. It's kind of a situation of not many people are building with unibutts and giant stand-up gear and things like that. But because the Suka 2 is out, because we're talking about blanks going through or not all the way through or something like that, we really, really need to, I need to go back and answer that question about a Wiing Check. But we're going to talk about this really, really quick. So we have 2 saltwater, all aluminum butts. Now, when we talk about a saltwater aluminum butt that is a full saltwater, it has the reel seat and the rear butt section all incorporated into one, right? This one is an American tackle with a ferrule in it. So this collet nut here unscrews. So these are a double locking nut. There's your hood. There's your lower hood. The reel goes right there. 2 locking nuts with Delrin in the middle there to keep them nice and snug. Very, very aggressive knurling on this because you need to get it tight, and that'll help. This collet nut comes off, and a ferrule comes out. The ferrule is notched. You can see it there. And inside here, it drops in. Extremely good fit, and then it locks. So you can spin it, spin it, spin it, and it locks. Now, keep in mind, you are going to then glue this rod blank down into this ferrule, right? So now what ends up happening is you snug that down and you got a one-piece rod. Or you unscrew that ferrule, this comes out. Now you have your reel, really that is virtually permanently attached to this. You really don't need to be taking off your 50 wides and 80 wides and stuff like that because you're also going to have a reel clamp on the bottom of it. You're going to have to unscrew. It's an ordeal. But if you want to have this rod blank into a longer butt or a butt that is a curved butt for fighting out of a chair or wahoo fishing or something, you just leave this down in the cabin with a reel on it. You take another different butt with a reel already attached to it. You take and you want this rod, locks in, tighten that collet nut, and you're ready to rock. So, again, these are going to be for 30s and 50s and 80s and 130 class rods. Most of the time, your rod blank is going to be 4.5 to 5.5, maybe 6 feet. Because remember, you're going to be accounting for 2 foot of aluminum butt here. So you're typically not taking a 7-foot rod blank and putting it in a 2-foot aluminum butt. Plus, the rod blanks typically don't have the rear butt diameter that's going to match this. And if you have to arbor it up too much, it's just not going to work because these are going to get put under extreme pressure.
Yep.
Now, Hunter over here has, what if you want like a 20-pound class or a 30-pound class and you want to use a 7-foot or a 7.6 or a 6.6 rod blank for dolphin, sailfish, light tuna work, things like that, but you want the aluminum butt, but you need a different blank.
So this is where the Epic butt from Winthrop comes into play.
Yeah.
So as opposed to using, the aluminum butts and the Suka 2 have a very similar concept to where you're gluing in anywhere from 3-4 inches upwards of maybe 5-6 inches
Yep.
of the end of your rod blank.
Yep.
This Epic butt is actually a blank through design, meaning it's fluted and the rod blank will actually go all the way to the end. And you can use that, obviously the entire section of the butt if you want to, or you can obviously glue your rod blank, whether you want to go halfway down it, maybe 3/4 of the way, 1/4 of the way. It's kind of up to you to determine the length of your overall rod.
Right.
So I'll let you take that.
Yep.
I'm going to take this. So what's really cool about this Winthrop Epic butt is not only is it a blank through, fluted design, it also has this gimbal at the very end that is keyed. So you can see, get a quick zoom real quick. You can see that it will actually kind of lock into place as I spin it. It's going to lock right there. So aside from the key design itself, you also have a couple of channels that are notched in or that are etched in that will give you a little more glue bond, a better glue bond when you actually do glue this gimbal into the barrel of this aluminum butt. So small little details that add, sorry about that, I moved, that add a lot of functionality. And like you said, if you're looking for anywhere from a 20-pound, this is a size 1. We also have a size 2. I think the 2 can accommodate maybe up to 50, 80 range. Might be getting a little carried away, but anywhere from a 20-pound upwards of 50, 60, maybe even 80-pound, you can accommodate with either a size 1 or a size 2.
Yeah.
So a little bit different design as opposed to the standard aluminum butt, but still a great product. I think these retail around the $100 mark depending on the size.
Yeah. And they're just cool.
They're super cool product. Machined very well. Winthrop does an amazing job with all of their products, especially whether it be the Epic butts. They have the Adjusta butts that are extremely popular, and they even have the T10X, which is in a size 4 and a 6. If you really, really want a little pricey, but incredible products.
Yeah, for sure. I love that stuff. Nick, can you just cut your blank to the length you want and still use the unibutt? Absolutely. Like I said, though, just keep in mind that you need to be relatively close to the diameter of this ferrule, okay? So it's a situation of you don't want, like if this ferrule is 0.8, you don't want to put a 0.35 in there, okay? Plus, you probably wouldn't be using a 0.35 in an 80-pound, class unibutt setup. But I just have to make sure that we're clear on that. Somebody had asked about aligning the unibutt. Is there a trick to aligning the ferrule with the guides? So if it's me, this is done at the end, okay? What we do is we take the rod blank, put our grip on it, we dry fit to the ferrule. So we know how long this is. So when we mount the grip, we're not mounting it too long or too short, then we got a gap or we got an overhang, okay? That's why this is dry fit with some tape here. Gives a nice snug fit in the ferrule. Then if you have the ability to, if you got the muscles to spine one of these, I spine these really, really heavy duty rod blanks because I am pulling from 6 o'clock to 12 o'clock most of the time. I'm not pulling off to the side. I'm not casting this thing. I want to make sure if I am not, doing a spiral wrap or whatever, I want to make sure that I eliminate the most torque that I can from a situation like this, because you're going to be fighting like this, rod's going to be bent over, you're going to be winching, and the last thing you want to do is, have this side-to-side torque going on. With that being said, we're going to wrap this blank before we glue it into the ferrule. So wrap it and then you glue it into the ferrule, because what you don't want to do is be off center in that ferrule, because that's a mess. That's just, it's a real pain. So in my amateur opinion, I'm wrapping the guides on this thing, make sure everything is perfectly straight. Then I am going to glue it into the ferrule and have, you know, marks on the top of this. I will mark, because keep in mind, you also have a gimbal that you have to worry about. If the gimbal is also off center, then you also have a problem. But the good news is the gimbal and the ferrule are going to be in line. You just got to worry about the guides in the blank. So I will take and even put a China mark on this aluminum butt so we can look down it like this. Sometimes it's hard if you got an 80 wide to put the 80 wide in it and try to look down it because the reel is so heavy. So another thing that I also like to do is take a China marker. Do you have a China marker down there, Mr. Hunter?
Let me see, let me see.
China marker, pencil, something.
I do.
Take a China marker. Most of the time they will fit in the gimbal. Okay? China marker in gimbal. Now, we're going to look down it like that. Obviously that is backwards, but I'm showing you in the camera. So we're going to take this guy, look down this. You got this going on. Put it into the ferrule. And that's going to help us try to get that guide and that lined up. Okay? So there's a little bit of help there with a China marker in a gimbal. Because keep in mind, you might have a gimbal butt without an aluminum butt and a ferrule. So that's a trick you can use on any gimbal that you've got. So, cool. All right. And that's all the salt water for the entire year, I guess, right? Unfortunately. All right. Let's see. What else we got? Did you have anything, Mr. Hunterman?
I think we just need to, you know.
Just do general. How about this?
Hit some questions.
Give me an advantage to using double foot guides over single foot guides. Is there any advantage to using a double foot guide rather than a single foot guide?
Definitely. In certain applications, I typically, and this is coming from a more freshwater or inshore perspective,
Yeah.
I typically always try to go with a single foot. Obviously, it's less wraps. So that's less time on the bench.
I know how
right?
that's going. I got to build somebody a fly rod for a
Yeah.
trout trip, and I told that person.
Sure who.
I told that person as long as he's okay with single foot guides.
And I said yes.
Yeah. Single foot wires, not ceramics.
So,
anyway.
in a case of a fly rod, in case of a bass rod, in case of a redfish, a trout, you know, whatever it might be. Now, once you start getting up into maybe a heavier freshwater rod, even a heavier inshore rod, and then obviously your offshore rods, that's where your double foot guides are going to come into play. You need a little more strength there. Some of these are going to require under wraps possibly. But back to my original point, I try to do single foots whenever possible, and that rod or application suits it.
Yeah, and I have I have been walking the line recently when I've been fishing offshore. I've been walking the line of, do I really need to go to double foots, or is this single foot going to be okay? For example, I've been slow pitch jigging, catching blackfin tuna. I've been catching it sailfish season, so I've been taking the skiff off the beach, catching sailfish with a spinning rod. Now it is built for that, but I was like, well, I'm going to use some single footers on this. Now I am in the process of building the same rod blank, but with a conventional, you know, Speedmaster and all that. And I have decided that I am going to go with double footers just because I'm having to put the rod, you know, under the gunnel sometimes in the rod tubes. And if I wanted to put a little more heat on those fish, or if I don't have a sailfish on and I want to, you know, if let's say it's a bonita or an amberjack or something and I want him in quick and I just want to winch him and thumb the spool, I don't want to risk like, oh, that might have been a little too much for a single foot guide on a conventional like casting style setup.
Right.
But I have been walking the line a little bit, and I've been impressed at what, you know, size 6s and size 8 single foots can handle. So I would err on the side of doing a single foot when you can.
Absolutely.
I mean, I don't know. But yeah. Yeah, Richard has a very good point. You also need to use the double foot guides on your youth rods for a durability factor because they will knock them against things.
Excellent point.
That is some real dad rod builder talk right there. That is exactly right. And you know, Richard, that's partially what I was talking about when I have a skiff and I'm putting these spinning rods or casting rods into a rod tube and under the gunnel. Those guides are getting kind of pushed and knocked a little bit. And with those single foot guides, man, I have to be a heck of a lot more cautious. I mean, I'm careful with my stuff, but you can bend a single foot guide way before you'll ever torque a double foot guide, putting it in a rod tube or run it into stuff. So yeah, that's a really, really good point. So, all right, we got some more stuff here. All right, Hunter Man. New to rod building and mud hole. Mike, welcome. Recommendation for the lightest weight, medium heavy casting rod for freshwater fishing.
Ooh, okay.
So we're talking medium heavy. We'll just say it's a 7-footer.
Okay.
He didn't say it, but I think everybody needs a 7-foot medium heavy casting rod for freshwater fishing.
You know, Mike, I think you have to go, in my opinion, you have to go with the MB843 MHX.
Okay.
Now, I think his comment or his question.
The lightest weight one. Yeah.
Sorry, Mike, we're not going to go there just yet.
Okay.
Just because if you are new to rod building, I typically don't advise people to jump into the lightest weight, most expensive, you name it, go down that list.
Yeah, on the first one out the gate.
Let's start a little bit more baseline.
Yeah.
And go with the MB843 MHX.
Right.
It is one of our most popular rod blanks.
Oh, probably by far.
I think second, maybe third.
Yeah.
The most versatile all-around 7-foot bass rod you can build.
And now keep in mind, this is not, Mike, listen to me. This is not a knock on your fishing ability.
Right.
But would you rather like make a few rod building mistakes on a average cost but quality build? Or would you rather make a boo-boo on the most expensive bass build that you could make? That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
That's it. Nothing, Mike, it's got nothing to do with your fishing ability, but
Yeah.
the longer you build rods, you're going to look back at some of those first ones and go like, oof, I can't believe I showed those to people.
Because if you do want the lightest weight, you know, if we are talking physical weight.
Well, just go ahead and tell him. Go ahead and tell him which one.
You
But
know, you're going to have to go with like an Elite X,
Yep.
even an,
yeah, the
nano-
NMB.
NMB. You could go with like, not a Suka per se, but a G2 American Tackle
Yeah.
carbon fiber handle system. You could go with some Fuji, SIC or Torzite guide. You could spend $300, $400, $500 on this rod.
Give us your credit card, Mike. Well, I'll get you set up. I will get you set up. Yeah.
For your first rod build, even your first 3 or 5 rod builds, I wouldn't go that way.
No.
Honestly, I point people more times than not for a first build to the CRB Color Series.
Sure.
Start there. They're $30 to $50 blanks. If you want to take a step up and go to MHX for your first build, that's fine too.
Yep.
MB843 is around $70, $80. Still a phenomenal blank.
Yeah.
Don't jump into the best of the best right away. Trust me, your first build, unless you're just an absolute pro, it's not going to be the best. Your first is always going to be a little on the rough side. We can be honest here.
Yeah.
Everyone's had their first rod build. It didn't come out perfect.
For sure.
But even after a couple rods, you're going to get the knack of it. You're going to do better with your thread wraps, your thread finish, all that good stuff. And then by the time you get to your 5th rod build, your 10th rod build, then maybe jump up and do an Elite X.
Start spending that money.
Or a Nano Elite Pro, or one of those nicer rod blanks where you can spend a little bit of money and you're not sacrificing, like you said, maybe some of those beginner mistakes.
Yep. All right, Chris, this is a good one. Hello, y'all. How far should I install the Reseat from the first guide? So the good news is we have suggested spacing. And I say suggested because we still, after all of these years, get comments that this guide spacing's not right. It didn't fit this. It doesn't, when I put it on the deflection chart, it's not right. Look, it's as close as we can get it without knowing everything about your custom rod build, okay? I might want an 11-inch handle. He might want an 8.5-inch handle. That is going to move those guides all over that rod blank, okay? So, Chris, with the Reseat from the first guide, if it is a casting, even if it's a spinning, but if it's a casting, you're probably going to live somewhere in the 19 to 20 inch range from the front of your casting reel to the first guide, okay? Now, if you're on the website, mudhole.com, there's a section where you can click on Learn, and then you can go to rod building guide spacing suggestions or something like that. MHX guide spacing, CRB guide spacing, or if you just buy a CRB guide kit, it's going to have some spacing in it. Again, suggested, but we try to be as average as we can be. If you've got a 7-foot, medium heavy, we know you're probably going to use somewhere around, you know, a 10-inch handle or 10.5 or whatever. So we try to get you close, all right? We have a deflection chart over here, which is really going to get you dialed in if you want to go that route. Or you can start with the guide spacing, see where it takes you, and that's how you're going to learn. We want to stay away from extremes. You know, if you've got your rod build and you're like, man, that guide is like 13 inches from the face of that reel, that's going to be wrong. If it's 30 inches from the face of that reel, that's also going to be wrong. So let's try to be in that like 19 to 20. And also, you probably have a fishing rod at home. Somewhere, somehow, you're probably going to build one that's close to it. Have a look at it. That will kind of get you confident to know that, like, okay, yeah, that rod performs kind of good, but I want to do a little something different. Not to say that use the guide spacing, but measure it out. It's probably somewhere in the 19 to 21 range. You know, we tweak it a little bit if we have a flipping stick. Sometimes we push it out even farther. You know, if you take and want to bowstring it or whatever. But yeah, so we try to get you as close as we can, but that's a pretty good starting point. Really, really good question.
I'll tell you what, let's do two things.
Oh, we got to do a giveaway, right?
Let's do a giveaway, and then after that, I got a question
Oh, no.
for the listeners.
All right, Uncle Phil. Yeah, we're an hour in. We need to get this. We had about 500 people in here most of the night.
So we're going to do 2 of the
Roller stands.
CRB roller stands,
All right.
just like this, except the other one's going to be in the nice packaging. So you get 2 of those.
Yeah.
Who do we got? Who do we have?
Hopefully it's going to be a really, really difficult name to pronounce.
You just love that, don't you?
Wait a little.
Yeah.
Come on.
I saw some.
Or do like, give us like a mud hole. Oh, no.
Gene Donovan. Love it, Gene. Good name there. Out of
Too easy,
Facebook.
Gene. Too
Too
easy.
easy.
Too easy, Gene.
All right, Gene. 2 of these coming your way. So what's the deal? They have to email live@mudhole.com.
Live@mudhole.com.
to claim their prize.
Yeah. Or to, you know, tell us how much you love or don't love us and the show. We can take it. Trust me. Real quick before you do that, I meant to do this earlier and I'm sorry. Suka Tube. So Test from YouTube is asking us, on those handles, what would you use as a winding check to seal the end? I didn't grab one, but there is one, and it is really, really cool. It looks like a top hat, okay? So it's got like a wide lip at the bottom, and then it's like a cylinder. The guys in the war room, hopefully, you can find that on the website. It is an American Tackle product. It comes in like silver matte black and
I'm almost positive it's ASCHL.
ASCHL. It sounds right because I had to,
Close to that.
or any you know, any combination of those letters. So if you would just want to stop watching the show and try to figure out what Hunter's talking about, that's what it is. But it looks like a little top hat, and it glues down and it turns into kind of like a winding check, and then from there you can use thread and do some other stuff to really finish it off. And it will stick up a little bit above this lockdown hood. And it really looks cool. It was very well done. So that is what you would use. Now, if you want to get super creative and just do your own thing, you can do a thread ramp, an epoxy ramp, you know. There's other options. But there is a part that is made for that if you want to use it. All right, Hunter. So you said you have a question.
Yeah, I mean, we've done enough questions. I think.
We got plenty. This better be good. If we're
I
gonna
want to
put,
hear. Thanksgiving's in a couple days. Happy Thanksgiving, everyone.
they did
out there.
say ASCHL.
Perfect. Bang.
So it's like you're in purchasing or something.
It's like I know these products. Yeah,
All right.
I try to.
All right, Hunter. So go ahead. Everybody is on pins and needles now.
Oh, I'm sure. So Thanksgiving's a couple days away. I'm sure everyone's getting together with their families and all that good stuff. I want to know what's on your rod building bench. Do you have a rod lined up for Thanksgiving? Maybe you saved a couple guides so you could maybe sneak away after the food.
Yeah.
Get away from those relatives that maybe you don't want to see.
Or are you traveling somewhere and you just can't stand another minute with that mother or father-in-law.
Yeah.
And you want to just walk to the pond down at the end of the neighborhood and disappear for a couple hours. Somebody has got to have a rod build that there's 489 people in here right now, and not everybody loves the family. So
yeah,
somebody's got a rod that they're taking to Thanksgiving.
What are you working on, or what rod are you taking to maybe one of your family functions to sneak away to the pond or the creek or the river for a couple hours to get away from a family?
David Mutter said, building an ultralight. And I don't know why. I just thought that it said, like, I just have a Mick Ultra, It's like, well, that would work too, but
yeah, sure.
David is building a Michelob Ultra Light rod blank. Yeah, we got some people that have an ice rod build to complete for Christmas. So, yeah. See, now, Gary really went a step further and said he's got a 7-foot lightweight trout rod for his father-in-law.
Nice.
So
that works too.
Gary did it right.
Yeah.
He made sure that he picked the family while picking the spouse.
Yeah.
So.
And I'm not trying to give you any ideas, or am I?
Yeah, right. That's pretty good, Hunter. There's a lot of them coming in for sure. Got a 10-foot 8-weight they're building.
Hey, there we
go.
go.
I like that. Oh, a BFS, CRB 66 green BFS. You got Uncle Phil's attention now.
Uh-oh.
Did you build your BFS with the color series? The black one, right? Yeah. What reel did you put on that?
We put the, I think it's the Cast King one.
It is the Cast King one? Because you had the Shimano one on the other one, right? Did you like the Cast King one?
It was actually a lot better than I thought.
Oh, okay. That's cool. Because you just got it on Amazon, right? Yeah. Okay, cool. Steve Miller's got some ice rods that are drying up now.
Nice.
That's cool.
Ice season is, I was going to say upon us, but
Yeah.
it's not necessarily us.
Dude, I'm not going to lie to you that there's more fly rods in here.
Nice. Hey,
I thought.
We got a little trip upcoming.
Yeah, well, we got hang on real quick. We got Richard Bowers. He's got 5 9-weight fly rods that are going to the Amazon for peacock bass.
Hey, that's cool, Richard. Very
Richard,
cool.
what part of the Amazon are you going to fish? Are you going to, are you flying into Manaus and then going on a float, like on a mothership, or are you flying into somewhere like, different headwaters or, some of the, because the Amazon is obviously a big place. And I am just curious because it has been since 2007, but it was very, very cool. So I'm just curious where you're going, Richard. And what were you saying before I got distracted?
I said we have a little trout trip upcoming in a couple weeks to North Carolina, so that's going to be pretty fun.
Yeah, it's we've got Taylor, who you guys, Taylor has moved on from the mud hole, but he's still doing some really cool graphic stuff. He's going, and of course Hunter is now going, and we've actually got. That's actually where we tested for the first time. We tested the CRB Color Series blanks. What was that, 3 years ago?
It's been several years.
So we take those. We really, really like the 864 weight. It's an extra fast 864 weight. We use it for really light indicators, or in North Carolina, you kind of in December, it might snow, or you might get a dry fly hatch. So it's the 864 weight is nice because we can throw some, like a 22 blueing olive. It's delicate, but then we can also, roll out an indicator and do that. So yeah, that is a good one. Chris asks, are you coming to fish with Buzz this winter? Unfortunately, we are not. We do have to put it back on the schedule, though. I think that needs to go back on the schedule. As much as I hate cold weather, that was actually pretty fun. All right, let's see here. See if there's any other. What size blank is that for trolling that we are showing? This is an American tackle?
Nope, that's X-Fighter.
Oh, this is the X-Fighter. I'm sorry. Yeah, hello. This is the XF 755H. So this is an MHX X-Fighter, the 755H. Pretty all around. You can really pull on them. And that goes in, fits perfectly in a number 2 unibutt. This is an American tackle. Also fits in a number 2 Aftco as well. Let's see. Is there a BFS kit? There is not a BFS kit. We didn't do those kits. We did a BFS show and we listed all the parts, but we don't have a BFS kit yet. So, all right, Uncle
rod
Phil,
recipes?
have at it. We do have some rod recipes, but we probably, we really should do a kit. We'll do some BFS kits. Chuck Fish, you're right. You are right. We should do it. So we had some questions from earlier. Corky Ramirez, what's the best way? Give us what is the Hunter McCamey way to align a reel seat and guides.
Oof.
What is your choice?
I have very horrible eyesight.
That is the understatement of the year.
And when I say horrible, I mean almost
Understatement.
legally blind without my contacts in.
Yeah. If you were to see, he couldn't wear his glasses on the set because the lights might catch him on fire.
Exactly.
So, yeah.
2 ways. First is if you're like me and you have very poor vision, I recommend either getting like the CRB alignment tool set, the CRB Pro version, or just the regular alignment sight, the plastic version, the cheaper one.
Yeah.
You can chuck that into your reel seat, and then that'll give you a sight down that rod blank as kind of a guide to line up your guides.
Yeah.
You like that? Mm-hmm. The other way is if you do not have the tool or if you don't want to buy the tool, what I recommend is using a white backdrop. Can be a wall, can be anything that has a white background to it. To use that as it kind of makes it a brighter appearance when you're looking down that rod blank, as opposed to if you have a gray wall or something with a dark background and you try to look down that rod blank, you're just not gonna have a very good visual. So use a white background or something that's a little bit on the lighter side. That way when you look down that rod blank, you can actually see those guides better and give you better alignment. So 2 different ways. And then I always have someone else check my work.
Yeah.
I usually still misalign 1 or 2 because,
Yeah, because you're blind.
Because I'm blind.
Yeah, exactly. I personally use a China marker on the blank with all, a laundry list of faults that I have. I am very thankful I have good vision.
Good.
I use a China marker and I just, close one eye kind of deal, align the reel seat. Now, one of the things that I do that helps me make sure everything stays in line is I typically do my handles and set them aside, let them dry overnight, or if I really need it in a pinch, I will shift over and use 15-minute Pro Pace. Because if you don't, and you put your handles together and then you go to start wrapping, it's not a recipe for disaster, but you have such a higher chance of screwing up the alignment on your reel seat than when you start doing your guides, and then you're like, uh-oh. And then now, So what I do is I typically glue the handles. It doesn't matter what handle, whether it's casting, spinning, fly. I'm gluing the handles, letting them dry. Then I go to my guides, and I do the 1 guide at a time thing.
Mm-hmm. Great.
I know it's kind of ridiculous, but I also don't have a power wrapper, so it's not in the deal. I'm on a hand wrapper, so I will wrap a guide, align it. Wrap another guide, align it. Wrap another guide, alignment, align it. I think it helps me personally. I think it's the better way to do it than if you look down the rod and you're looking at 9 to 12 guides and they're all going all this other and you're like, well, this one a little, and then that one, and then but this one now, no, that one. Oh, yeah, the one on the tip is upside down. How did that, And you're just, it's just easier for me to take it out of the hand wrapper, align it, and wrap the next one and do that. So anyway, that's me. Question earlier. What do you do when your epoxy does not cure in days? And that is coming from Robert Cobb. Oh, Bob Cobb coming in with a good question.
Bob.
So, Bob, what I would say is it really depends on what level of not curing you're talking about.
Yeah.
So, if you're talking like you can peel it off, or you can smash it and it's liquidy and it still gets on your hands, we got to pull it all off. That's a problem. If it just feels tacky, I hate to break it to you, but you probably mixed it incorrectly. And I know that is one of the hot button topics on this thing is people are like, that finish is better than that finish is better than that finish, whatever. I can promise you, if you mix it 50-50, mix it properly, and you put it on your rod blank, it cures. As long as you're not doing it in a 60-degree basement or whatever. Trust me. So if it is just barely tacky, like you feel like it's a little tacky, mix up another batch of epoxy, try to measure it correctly, mix it correctly. You can mix it for longer because you're not going to have to put as much on and spend as much time, so you can really get it mixed up. Then come back in and put an absolute just super thin skim coat over it, all that epoxy, each one of the guides. It'll cure out, hopefully, if you mixed it right, and you'll be good to go. So it kind of depends on the level of does not cure.
Right.
If it's like runny, you got a problem, you got to take it all off. If it's just like maybe a bit tacky, you can come back in and do that. So I'm sure I'm getting fried in the comments right now over that one too. Let's see. Oh, this is a good one. Comes from Joe Bookman. I wonder if he was like a librarian or something. That would be kind of funny. Last name Bookman. Is there a possibility of a roller guide unibutt rod class in the future? Hopefully.
I think it's a possibility.
I think if we did one, it would need to be like, maybe they could do one in like Fort Lauderdale or Miami or somewhere like that. Or like in North Carolina on the coast.
Todd Vivian, the head instructor for
the head instructor.
The head instructor for the rod building classes. This year specifically, even a little bit of last year, and also going into next year, we've Todd and his crew, have branched out into application specific rod building classes. We have one upcoming in January that actually is a slow pitch rod building class,
yes,
which is
I saw
super
that,
cool.
Which is awesome.
And I know in the past they've done other saltwater, theme builds, and I'm not gonna say it's a definite, but it's a possibility that we can, maybe convince Todd to get a, maybe an offshore rod, specifically a roller build with an aluminum butt, class together. That'd be really cool.
Awesome. This is a good one. This is always on epoxy. What is the rule of thumb on the shelf life?
Typically 1 year.
That's what I think. If you really, really had to like put your thumb down on it, and you required us to give an answer, because there's so many variables, but I would venture to say that 1 year is going to be just, it's like if you got a boat and your trailer tires are over like 4 years old, just get them replaced.
Yeah.
Just replace them.
Now, if you want to prolong that shelf life, in whether it's a year or longer, or whatever it might be, whatever you're comfortable with. If you do have epoxy, so a couple of things here to unpack. If you do have an epoxy that might be around that 1 year mark, and you're like, I really want to use this and salvage it, I want to toss it, I want to have to buy more epoxy.
Yeah. Or if they're like us and they're just putting it over like black thread work.
Yeah. Do a test run. Mix up a small batch, not even a small batch, just a normal, 3 cc's, 5 cc's of each, whatever you want to do. Let it sit overnight, come back the next day. If it's, if it looks fine, if it hardened correctly, if it's not tacky, then you're good to go.
Yeah.
It's clear, everything's good, checks out.
Perfect.
If you want to, if you have an epoxy that might, you're not using too often and it is, getting towards that 1 year mark.
Yep.
For epoxies, one thing you want to do is keep them out of any light. And that can mean sunlight, That could mean UV light from fluorescent lights, whatever it might be.
Yep.
Keep them in a dark place. Doesn't necessarily have to be a cool place, but it has to be out of any sunlight or light in general, and that will definitely help prolong that shelf life.
Yeah, great. Tom Roper, get the epoxy mixing system. It's well worth the investment.
Agreed.
Yes, it absolutely is. Dale said, taking a quick break to watch for a couple minutes. I love this program. Well, good, Dale. I hope this is the one you're talking about and you didn't just accidentally change the channel and find us. But yeah, no, we're kidding. Dale, thank you very much for watching, and we appreciate everybody that's hanging out and sticking with us. Let's see. Let me see. I feel like I had another one in here that I really liked. This one is this one might get you. Joe Archer, Chris and Hunter, what do you think of Threadmaster 1?
Ooh, good question. I'm going to keep this short and sweet.
Okay, go
I
ahead.
like 2-part rod building epoxy.
Okay, cool. Nice. That's, I feel like there was like
Is there anything you want to add there?
No, I don't think so. I feel like that answer is very like the golden rule or something, right? If you really, really, really want a 1-part thread finish, oh, it's behind the wreath. I like the permagloss.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think permagloss is great. You just can't do it inside, and you got to do like 8 coats. But yeah, so since you like 2-part epoxies, which I also prefer 2-part epoxies, if I was going to use a 1-part rod finish, the permagloss is a very good product.
I'm sure
We can move on.
Threadmaster 1 has its place for certain applications.
Sure.
But
Let's see. Oh, this one, Bill, it just finished up a CRB 3-weight fly rod.
Okay.
It's nice. You're really going to like it. For the money, it's way better than it needs to be. What's the best way to add alignment marks on the sections? Bill, my personal preference. I am not an alignment dot guy. Not to say that I think it's silly, but I'm the guy that's, we talked about it with aligning guides. I just kind of go like, and I align them. I don't like extra thread work and extra epoxy and the dots and this whole thing, because you can't just put a dot on the rod blank. You got to put finish over it, and sometimes it can look ugly if it's just a dot, or somebody wants to do like a real decorative little triangle wrap. I am so much about going fishing. I do like, I've got some pretty rod blanks. I'm not going to lie. I was building a sailfish rod, got real abalone on it and all that cool stuff. But I would just say leave the alignment dots alone. Now, if you really, really, really want to do it, and you got a steady hand, I think that, it would be attractive if you can use like a paint pen, one of our graphic guys who is incredibly talented, Birdman. You've seen some of his artwork. He has like a Sharpie paint pen or something. It's a real fine tip. If it was me, I would do a dot with a paint pen.
very subtle.
Very subtle. But I would do a dot, and then I would put probably two little trim bands on the top and the bottom, just so that it ties it together, it looks complete. Put a little bit, put your finish on it. And you need to do this with the rod together, because what you don't want to do is put it on there and then you slide the ferrule down and you're like, uh-oh, I'm running into my alignment dot. Also keep in mind, your ferrules will wear in a little bit. If you fish that rod a lot, every ferrule is designed to wear in a little bit. So do not put that alignment dot on the male section, the bottom section of the ferrule. Do not put that dot just right at it. Like when you fit it, you don't want that finish and dot to be right at the female end of the ferrule, because you're going to run into a problem. So give it a little bit, but make it uniform throughout the whole rod blank. Use the dot, put, a 3-turn trim band on either side, a little bit of finish, and do it. Or just meet me at the river, we'll go fishing and forget all the alignment dots. So, yeah. Let's see. Oh man, this one right here. We could end the night on this one. But Daryl, hopefully you don't have a brother named Daryl too. Very green to rod building. I understand how to find the spine, but how do you line up reel seats and eyelets? Did you want to talk about the spine at all? Yeah, I know that was kind of.
I do.
I know you do. We're going to do a show on it. But lining up the reel seat and Daryl, I don't mean to be this guy, but since you're green into rod building, don't take this personal. They're not eyelets, okay? This is a rod blank. It's not a pole. It's not a stick. It's not a whatever. It's a rod blank. Reel seat, you got it. Reel seat, not eyelets, guides. So I'm just doing that as a friendly, since you said you were green to rod building. What I do when I spine a rod blank, I will put it on something hard, right? I flex it, okay? Now, what I do is test it, and I'll put a tentative mark. What'd you do with that white China marker?
Right there.
Right?
There it is.
Right there. I'll put a tentative mark, right? Then I will check it on the floor. I will lean it against my body. I will rotate the rod blank to confirm, okay? I am on the inside of the curve. See the rod blank here, right? It's curved away from me. Inside of the curve, I'm going to darken up that mark, all right? So now we got the mark here. Probably can't see it on camera, but trust me, it's there. Are we gonna go there, Justin?
Oh, there it is.
Okay, there it is. All right, so we got a vertical mark, all right? Got your vertical mark. I like it to be down the rod blank far enough that I can see it when I go like this. But I want it to be away from me enough to where I can get the first stripper guide on, or 2 guides, if that makes sense. So that's how I'm going to do it. Now, this is a casting rod. I'm going to put the guides and the reel seat on the side that is on the other side, okay? Because this is the inside of the curve, right? So we're going to put it on the outside. You all right, Uncle Phil? Took a tumble over there. To be honest with you, the inside and the outside, I'm probably okay.
Oh, careful. Oh,
You think?
careful.
You think?
Yeah, go for it. Go for it.
Anyway. So, you're going to make me lose my train of thought.
I'm sorry.
It's fine. It's fine.
Yeah.
I'm probably not going to get in a knockdown, drag out argument here or anywhere else if you want to mark the inside and put your guides, casting guides and reel seat on this, okay? But if you're going to freak out about it, then put them on the other side. But leave that mark, because you're going to put a casting reel seat that's got a trigger on it. And that trigger is going to be that mark right there. So you'll have your trigger reel seat. If you got a gimbal, maybe 2. You got a gimbal, you got a trigger, you got, okay? And then you put your guides on the other side. But remember, we have already glued our handle, set it aside, it's dry, so we can use the handle as a steady, secure spot to see your guides. So, anyway, yeah, cool. So if you guys want to light me up for that one, light me up for that one.
The great debate.
Yeah, and see, Jeremiah's right in there too. Just the straightest axis is best, right? LOL. The spine, the backbone of the rod, LOL. I get it, guys. I get it.
Which one is better?
No, we're not going to do that.
Oh, come
We're
on.
not. And then so he said, don't y'all mean spline?
Oh,
No.
somebody can't spell.
Yeah. Oh, my goodness. Gilbert, I will give you this one, though, buddy. What is the best way to align multi-piece blank to spine each piece? Was that a question, or was that just fact? We do try to either straightest axis on each piece individually, or spine each piece individually. If you have like a 4-piece 10 weight, you're not going to be able to flex the butt section. You're just not. So just pick the straightest and move on, okay? There's very, very long-standing, successful rod manufacturers that do it both ways. So, you know.
Very true.
Whichever one you want, right? Let's see here. You know, this is actually a pretty decent one here. Feisty Fish Winnie. New to rod building, when do you recommend a power wrapper?
Ooh, that's a great question.
That is. For me, Feisty, I unfortunately don't have the room for one. When I come up to mud hole, I get to use a power wrapper.
Yeah.
I just don't have the room for one. I would love one, don't get me wrong. I do have a lathe, but that's if I like turn custom like grips that I had before the power wrapper, the G2s ever even came out. So I just don't have the room. So I wouldn't venture to say that, like, in my opinion, that you have to have it, or that that's like some rite of passage, or that like now you're a professional because you have a power wrapper. But I will say, if you got the budget and you got the room, it's
those two,
awfully nice.
yeah, definitely. You know, if you want to put a number of rods, you know, I would get at least 10, 20 rods under your belt. But there's really no certain time period.
No, there's not.
Or, you know, it's more like you said, do you have the space for it? Do you think you're at a point in your rod building, you know, that you need or want to upgrade? You know, whether it be to do faster underwraps or turn, you know, custom cork handles. If you want to, you know, apply finish under power. It's things like that. It's not necessarily how many rods.
Yeah, because we can make a case for like a dozen things of why it is good.
Yeah.
You can still turn out some incredible work without it, but yeah, I mean, if I had the room, I would have one. I just don't have the room.
Yeah.
You know?
Certainly not a necessity.
No.
But it is nice to have, and it's got some features that a hand wrapper does not have.
Yeah, for sure. Let's see. This is kind of an interesting one, and it touches on something that we don't get to talk a whole lot about. Can you mix cork and acrylic, or EVA and acrylic pieces to make your own grips? Would they glue up correctly?
Acrylic?
Yeah, so like, you know, like polished plastic.
Yeah,
right?
I mean, I know people.
The EVA and acrylic worries me.
Yeah, I know a lot of rod builders, or some rod builders that use acrylic. They actually make custom acrylic handles.
Yeah.
But not a mix of acrylic and cork or EVA. So I'm not sure how those materials would glue up together.
Yeah.
Like you said, EVA, probably a definite no. Cork, maybe.
Yeah.
But I don't know. That'd be something I had to test.
I would be comfortable with cork and acrylic. But I just don't feel like I would want acrylic in EVA unless it was a trim piece at the top or a trim piece at the bottom. If it is inlaid in there somewhere, I worry that's going to be you're just going to feel it too much.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like I've seen the acrylic in a cork. And the other thing that you have to play with is, because I've done cork and EVA together, which was okay, but you have to pay attention to the fact that when you are making that grip, one of those mediums, whether it's cork or whatever, one is going to sand and shape at a different rate than the other one. So if you glue all this stuff up and you got chunks of acrylic and chunks of EVA, you're going to have to be like super cautious of sanding it, shaving it, whatever, because you're going to be left with all of these high spots from, let's say, the acrylic, and then the soft spots because you over sanded the EVA because it just sands so much faster. So that's something that I would pay attention to. But yeah, so Uncle Phil, how are we looking? We're like an hour 30 in, so I don't want to push it too much because we do need to. Let me just check here, make sure there's nothing else that's crazy, because we do need to give something away. We also have a big announcement that we don't want to wait till everybody falls asleep for. What do you want to do, Uncle Phil? You want to scroll me up there and make sure we... You okay? Oh, you kind of look like you were having a technical difficulty and not the equipment. All right, cool. Let's see. Do you want to do the big announcement before we do the final giveaway? Do you want to do that? Is that cool?
Yeah, whatever.
All right. So, live now. 471 people watching, 72 people watching. There is a Black Friday sale, and it starts now.
Right now.
Like right now. You, of course, are the first ones to know about it. We always do that. We've done it for the last 103 other episodes. There is a code. The code is 15BF23, and that has to do with, 15% off Black Friday of 2023. So 15BF23. So, there is some fine print in there, but you will have a Black Friday sale. We're not going to tell you when it's going to stop, but it's already started, and you're going to know about it well before anybody else. Now, another announcement that has to do with that. If you guys are sitting around tomorrow with nothing to do about 1 o'clock in the afternoon, there's going to be a special live stream, and you're going to see our ugly mugs again. Mm-hmm. We're going to be up here, and we're going to walk through some of the stuff that is on the Black Friday sale. 1 o'clock, Wednesday, the 22nd. And this is 1 p.m. Eastern. Okay? So I would be there if I can be there, because there might be some giveaways. There might also be additional codes that might be, useful to customers. So if you can be around right here at 1 o'clock Eastern Time, Hunter and I will be here, and we'll be talking. Okay? So it's not going to be long, maybe 30, 45 minutes, maybe an hour. If you got questions like, we ain't got nowhere to be, we're here. We have no turkeys to fry. My cranberry sauce is done. I just take it right out of the can, plop it down, leave the ridges on it.
You're talking about a debate. You're about to just light it on fire.
I am the cranberry sauce with the ridges out the can kind of guy. I'm sorry, I'm not fancy like you, Hunter. I'm just not.
Oh yeah, I skip it all together.
I know, you said that. Get out of here. You have to draw the line. You got to be either way. So anyway, 1 o'clock tomorrow. If you guys can do it, it'll be worth your while. Promise you. Let's go ahead and do a giveaway, and then we'll say our goodbyes. So the giveaway number 3 tonight, Signature Series rod kit of choice, except for the Jake 9-footer, unless you want to come here and pick it up, which we would love to have you. We'll give you the 10-cent tour. You can meet everybody, and you can pick up your kit. So just keep that in mind. So grand prize tonight, custom rod kit, Signature Series. Hunter's got 3 to choose from. I've got 3, Matt Stefan, Terry Scroggins, and Jake's set of mullets he's got. Let's see what we got.
Mullets.
Give me a good name here.
Oh boy. Name. All right, let's see. Who do we got? Colby Livingston. Nice.
I think we had a Facebook sweep tonight.
I think we did too. Yep. Colby Livingston.
Facebook sweep.
So your choice of a Signature Series rod kit.
Yeah.
There's some really good kits in there between, Terry's got a lot of bass kits. Obviously, Matt does too.
Yeah.
You have some good inshore kits, as well as Jake, and then I got some more freshwater bass.
All right, so real quick, Uncle Phil, you listening? Put this down under, put giveaway number 4. We can't have a Facebook sweep. So the first name that I see is Kim Waters.
There you go.
Kim, let's do a $25 gift card to Mudhole. Kim Waters. So hopefully you're still around for this one. $25 gift card, live@mudhole.com. Shoot me an email so we can get you that. Because we got to get a YouTuber in there. We can't have a full sweep of, Facebook or YouTube. So we had a full sweep of YouTube tonight. I'm sorry, of Facebook. So Kim Waters, $25 gift card. Got to get you in there. Got to get you in there. All right. What else? Thank you guys very much for joining us. Okay, so hour 36 minutes. We had around 500 people tonight. We stayed steady over 450. That was awesome. I've been told that you need to send in pictures, if you can, of your setup. We want to see you guys using the RBS Pro G2. We'll feature you on social media stuff. So we always like, because somebody's always doing a cool custom wrap, or they're doing some really neat finish, or they've got a cool build. We want to see how you're using that Pro G2. Send it over to us. We'll get you on social media. Maybe Jake will do something for you. And speaking of Jake, the Mullet Minute is coming back. I feel like I've heard that before somewhere. He says it's coming back, I promise. Jake.
Signed.
Jake. Yeah. So anyway, all right, Jake. This is 2 now. So we trust you. So keep us going. This was good. I like the Q&A shows. I hope you all like it as well. Hopefully we had we got to as many questions as we could. If you can show up tomorrow at 1 o'clock, we will keep answering questions. I mean, we're going to show a couple products that we've got on the Black Friday sale, which obviously you guys know about. But we're going to answer questions as well. So we probably, I don't know, maybe we'll just like stay live until then. What is it? It's 8:10.
Sure, why not?
And we'll just be here all night long, all the way through until we're not going to do that.
No way.
So anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching. We have a show in December. It is the Big Finish show. For anybody that has watched us for the last, 8 years, right? 7 years?
I think, yeah.
Whatever. This is the Big Finish show 5.0, I think is what we're up to now. We're coming for you, Apple. We're going to catch you in the amount of iPhones that you put out. It's just our stuff usually works a little better. But anyway, so episode 105, the Big Finish show, Tuesday, December 19th, 6:30. We'll try to come up, with some ways that if you really got to get that rod finished and you got to get it under the tree or to that special someone for a holiday gift,
Last minute ideas.
You'll have 6 days to finish it before. So if you got to get that, gnat out of the finish, or if you got to get a fingerprint out, or if you got to take a reel seat off, and we'll help you. We'll answer some questions, but we're also going to help you guys improve your finish. So anyway, we got to get to some pizza. We had a good crew in here tonight. Kevin was here.
Yep.
So this was his first rodeo. So now he can say this is no longer his first rodeo for a live show. Steve was in the building, of course. Cool Man and Birdman are both here. Not only are they helping in the war room with questions, but they're also doing a lot of the cool graphics as well. Of course, we had Justin on the Zoom cam. I've called him Jason before, but it's really not. So we had the Zoom cam. Of course, Uncle Phil was on the 1s and 2s. I know Steve was in there in the war room making sure that the questions were properly answered. And Jake was here somewhere, wasn't he? He was running around.
He better be working on that mullet minute, but he better be.
Oh, that's what he did. He went home to work on the mullet minute. Yeah, he had to do some extra conditioner or something in his hair. But I'm telling you, it's going to be fly though. It's going to be real smooth for the next mullet minute. And so yeah, that was pretty much it. So run out of here right now, close your tab, and run over to mudhole.com for the Black Friday sale 15BF23. And then join us tomorrow at 1 o'clock Eastern, and we'll have some more stuff for you. Ain't that right?
That's right. We'll
All right,
be here
guys.
tomorrow. Doing it again.
That is Hunter McCamey, my left-hand man as always. I'm Chris Adams. Thank you guys again very much for joining us for episode 104. I think is what it was, right?
104, 103.
Yeah.
104.
For the old Q&A.
Yeah.
We'll see you guys
That part.
next time.
Thanks
in
for watching.
December. Take care.